So here you're looking at my 1958 Volkswagen Beetle. I've been the owner for about 6 years now. I typically drive it about 2,000 miles a year. During the summer, going to various car shows or cruising. This is not a show car, it's basically a daily driver. Some of the things you're not going to be able to actually see in the pictures is throughout the body there's various small door dings. Because this car actually sat in storage for about 14 years. There's a couple dings through here, a little scrape over here. On the hood there's a couple very small spots of bubbling. You have a typical kind of pinch zone that you would see on a 58. This is a 4-tab hood. Approximately 20 years ago the car was restored. It has new pans, new heater channels. The car was restored for a 16-year-old girl. She drove it for a year. She said, "I hate it." It sat in storage for about 14 years. The next owner came along, went through and have about $3,000 worth of receipts of items that he went through and refreshed. Like he replaced the transmission, replaced the carburetor, the fuel pump, went through and did all the brakes. He went through and put on these wheels, which are actually from the 70s. One thing to note is right here on the hood, down at some point in its life, it got bumped and I can see the hammer marks on it, and the paint match is not very good, and I can actually see kind of a scrape that was in there. They painted over it. Definitely very amateur fix on that. Also some spots on the paint in the back hood I can actually see in good sunlight, kind of very light scratch marks where the body prep really wasn't done correctly. What I'm going to do now is I will go through and start the car up. The car has been sitting for about a week and a half, so it's dead cold. All I have to do is pump the gas pedal twice and turn it over, and she should start right up. As you can see, all I had to do was turn the key and give it one little pump of the pedal, and right now it's idling a little bit higher than normal because it's cold, but it has no problems, like I said, sitting for a couple weeks or a couple months. Pump the gas pedal and turn the key and she's ready to go. So let's take a look at the engine right now when it's running. So as you can see, it starts up really well. Like I said, I usually will drive it about 2,000 miles a year. Come in here and take a look at the interior. It is a factory ragtop, and I do have the documentation from Volkswagen Museum to verify that it is. It actually came with that top. I went through and restored the steering wheel myself. It does have some hairline cracks that I've repaired over the last couple of years. It has been converted to 12 volt. It's a 6-volt radio, which doesn't work. I do have a hidden amp. It's very small on top of the glove box. That has a headphone jack that you can plug in an MP3 player to it. As you can see, the interior looks very good. Like I said, it was replaced 20 years ago. There are a couple spots, like here in the back of the seat I can see, looks like a cigarette burn there. It looks very good. It's very presentable. There's a spot up there where on the top that I just typically tuck back in. It maybe needs just a little bit of glue. The engine is out of a 68. The best information I have is it is still a single port. It probably has about 15,000 miles on it. Like I said, it runs beautifully. It leaks a little bit of oil, just a couple of teaspoons every 6 months. No issues on that. Just have a empty single pack. Muffler kind of going down the side here. Again, like I said, it's not a show car. It does have several kind of small, like here on the fender, there's a couple little scrapes in here. There's a couple little dents. On this side here, again, the paint prep was not perfect, so there definitely has kind of a little bit of like an orange peel look to it. It's not that bad. And again, here all the door jambs and whatever are solid. I can actually see down here where it was cut out and welded back in. So obviously at some point in time, there wasn't a rust issue here. This past spring, I had a full tune-up done, new battery, points, plugs, condenser, coil. The doors close great. This one over here fits perfectly. The other door, on the bottom of the door, it does blow out a little bit. And again, here's the front of the car, which you may be able to see basically right about here on down. The color's a little bit different. And the paint prep definitely was not the greatest. Keep in mind, the car was meant for a 16-year-old girl 20 plus years ago. I'll pop the hood. Under the hood, it is nice and clean. I'll post some pictures of where you can see the wiring, because the wiring all looks very nice. I did go through and purchase a rug kit to kind of clean up the interior. As you can tell, that this car is a California style because the chrome strips have been removed. I can actually tell the spots where the chrome was. They basically taped over it, bonded over it, and then painted the car out. That's about it. Like I said, I've owned it for about 6 years. It's been a great car. Like I said, I can turn the key and go whenever I want. Feel free to email me if you have any questions. Thanks.